All right, this is going to be an interesting one because I'm sure half of you are listening to this video from an airport, about to board, or just off-boarded. Whereas the other half is likely sitting in the office, checking even this out on your commute to work or likely even on a desktop. Fantastic. With that said, my question for today is, should customer success managers travel to meet their customers or not? Now, that's a very interesting topic. I know we all have emotions for it, but the idea of this discussion today is to slice it down, look at the pros and cons, look at the situations where it makes sense to travel, and also evaluate where it absolutely does not make sense to travel. So that's going to be the topic. Gear up. Perfect. First of all, if you're still figuring out your onboarding cycles, you're figuring out how the customers are adopting your platform, you're still figuring out whether your product is actually delivering the right value. In other words, if you're still finding product market fit, and from a customer process perspective, you're still figuring out, while the product has found product market fit, but it's still, you're analyzing what are the right processes, what are the right triggers and signals that you want to set up to run your customer success processes. I think in those early days, 100% you should be spending in-person time, face-to-face time with your customers, locked in the same room, and then eventually spending an evening maybe at the downtown pub. But once you've passed that stage, how do you know, or what sort of a customer success practice do you want to set up? And on ground, 100% on the field, always wining and dining, always building those amazing relationships? Or on the other hand, 100% in the HQ, where you are sitting out of the headquarters while serving and delivering customer success to a customer base which is spread out globally. Here are a few takes that we've got, which will help you evaluate. Now, there is no right or wrong. In fact, in many cases, we have seen a hybrid work beautifully well. But here are our few considerations. Here are a few points that you should consider while evaluating your decision. So number one, are your customers expecting you to be on site? And that alone can be a very straightforward answer, although that cannot be the only reason. That's a very important reason you want to consider, but you absolutely have to make sure that the unit economics works and so on and so forth, because travel is going to be cost. Having said that, that's not the only one, so let's look at the rest of them. Number two, how complex is the underlying problem that your product or technology is solving? Are you required to go deploy, use a professional services team to actually set it up, or is your platform meant to be completely self-serve? While these two are two extreme ends, I'm sure a lot of you sort of fall right in the middle, and hence you're interested in learning about the subject, whether you should travel or not. And there is good argument always for and against. So let's continue to look at some other reasons. Number three, how much are they paying you? And usually, more complex the problem for your end customers, they are willing to pay more, and hence you should have been charging from tens of thousands of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that will also be a reflection of how complex is the problem, and while they might be expecting you on site, but are they willing to pay for it or not? Number three, how educated is your customers on the subject itself? So for example, are they solving the underlying problem for the first time, or they've been there, done that multiple times? How tech savvy are your customers? When I mean tech savvy, are you selling to, let's say, engineers, developers who write code, if you have a developer platform? Or on the other hand, are you selling to construction workers, or even doctors for that matter? Doctors are not very tech savvy themselves at times. It requires a lot many human nudges, a lot of that before the product can be adopted. Are your customers deploying this technology for the first time, or have they done this multiple times before? If, let's say, the head of the department who has actually made the purchases, have they deployed this platform or similar platforms or technologies in the past, in their previous lives, or is this the first time? Another angle that you want to see is, what will you achieve while being on site that you cannot achieve while being remote? And that could be another driver. Does your product require a lot of whiteboarding, a lot of brainstorming with the customers? And in fact, I'm hinting on to the next one. Are you just deploying and providing technology as a vendor, or are you actually being the change agent, maybe directly or through your champion at your customer organizations, and you're actually driving an entire change which not only helps them adopt technology, but do things differently in a better way, in a lot more productive and efficient way? Those are some of the key pieces that you have to consider while making this call, whether it makes sense for you or not to start traveling. And again, you don't have to take this decision as a binary call. There are lots of shades of grays here. You can travel for just onboarding and not for the rest of it. You can travel maybe not for onboarding, but maybe for an advanced use case. Maybe you can travel for an advanced enterprise plan and not for the rest of it. So there are lots of ways you can make it a hybrid approach. The next video that I want to sort of invite you for that we're doing is, what are the best alternatives to travel? And make sure you've tried all of them out before you actually start burning that air fuel, start earning those travel miles. So check out for the alternatives to travel in my next video. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know, what do you think? Are there pieces that you considered while making the decision for yourself? Have you transitioned from one to another, from non-traveling to traveling, or vice versa? What has been your experience? Do share with us. Looking forward to learning from you. Cheers.